Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Meditation Momma podcast. My name is Caren Prentice, and my students gave me the name Meditation Momma over 15 years ago, and I've been trying to grow into it ever since. And in this podcast, what we're going to share with you is how you can benefit from meditation without having to sit every day for 20 minutes or more and meditate. This podcast is here to show you that there is so much more to being a meditator, to the world of meditation than you might realize. And you can be a meditator without having to sit every day, without having to sit still for hours every day meditating. And I'm going to tell you how I learned this. When I started meditating in the 90s, I was a mom of 4 kids, overwhelmed, busy. Things were imploding all around me. My kids were between the ages of 7 and 16 when I started meditating. And what happened was I was trying to sit every day as they told me to. And at the same time, I was trying to practice some of the teachings, some of the things they said, which is to just show up, be present in your life. And so my mantra became, Caren, just show up for the life you're having. Show up for the life you're having. And I was trying to not slip into feeling my life should be this way, or that I getting trapped into what my dreams and fantasies were, but to literally just show up for the life that was in front of me without resisting it, without blaming it or getting angry about it, which if you're a mom or actually anybody, you know that's not such a simple thing to do. So I'm trying to do that. And at the same time, I'm trying to meditate every day. And then there became a point where it was like, wait a minute, either I'm showing up for my life, which is kids, up all night puking and I'm exhausted and I can't get up early to meditate, or um, people have to get up early to do something and I have to get up extra early. And so I'm either showing up for my life or I'm saying no to those things and I'm sitting to meditate. And I was so conflicted and I was feeling like such a failure. And I was feeling like, I really want to make this work. This was my last resort. We'll get into that maybe in another time. But I was desperate to find a way to change and be less angry, less frustrated. And so I remember right where I was standing in our bedroom, and I thought to myself, I can't do it this way. I just can't do it like this. I'm going to use my life as my meditation. I'm going to just do everything I'm supposed to be doing when I sit, and I'm going to just use it all day long. I'm going to use it in my life. And, to be honest with you, I thought I was cheating. Yes, you heard me right. Cheating. I mean, how can you cheat at meditation? I felt I was cheating at meditation because I wasn't sitting every day. But you folks, here's what happened. I was changing. I was changing. I was changing. I was becoming less reactive. I was less angry. I was less controlling. I had days where I was actually happy. I had days where the things that used to trigger me and set me off, it was just, you know, it was amazing. But I still wouldn't admit that I wasn't sitting every day because that's what you were supposed to be doing, right? And so what I want to share with you is that you can be a successful meditator even if you don't sit every day in what we call formal meditation. Formal meditation is the time you spend sitting and practicing your meditation techniques. Informal meditation. Informal meditation is when we bring that and we use it during our day. And many meditators find themselves sitting on the cushion, meditating for 10, 20 minutes, and they feel better, they feel a little calmer, and then they get up and they come out of their room and they head into the kitchen and the dishwasher wasn't unloaded and boom, you're pissed off all over again. And there's a little bit of a disconnect between the practice on the cushion and their lives. And what, unbeknownst to me, I didn't realize this till I started teaching, what I was doing right from the get-go was integrating meditation into my life. And by integrating, what it means is that I was just learning to watch my thoughts during the day. I was learning to be aware of my emotions, the sensations in my body. And I was using the teachings and the wisdom that meditation gives us to deal with my thoughts, to navigate my emotions. And by doing that, it was on the spot training and transformation. And this way of doing it worked. And so what I want to say to you is, you can do this too. There's so much more to meditation than just sitting and meditating. The point of it is to transform your life, to transform you, transform me, right? And you may not realize it, but so much of what is being done in the counseling world, in therapy, has come out of meditation. And not meditation in the last 60 years, but meditation for millennia before us. These are the wisdoms, these are the teachings that are there for us, and we just don't know about it. So, what I'd love to do in this podcast is to help those of you who, like me, are feeling overwhelmed, who are feeling just kind of already too busy. Life is too complicated to take on one more thing, because you know how it is. You try to start a new habit or a new routine, and then it doesn't stick. And next thing you know, you're feeling like a failure. And we don't want to add any more failure to our lives. We're already feeling like we're not doing a good enough job anyways, right? I know the moms out there relate to what I'm saying. So what I want to do in this podcast is maybe try and take away some of these barriers that you may have in your mind about what it means to be a meditator that are telling you, oh, I can't do that. Because my experience is that this path of meditation is so worth it. It works better than anything else I've tried. And I had tried all the self-help books. I tried counseling. We were going to a church that had so much great stuff, but it wasn't changing me. It wasn't changing those places in me, right? Meditation did. So let's humor me for a minute and see if you may be driving. If so, do not close your eyes. But if you're in a place where you could just kind of close your eyes for a minute and just imagine what you think a meditator looks like. Okay? And you can imagine if you're walking or driving too, but just keep your eyes open. But I'll bet you your image of a meditator in, involves the meditator being probably a Buddhist or a yogi. It involves that meditator sitting on the floor with their legs crossed, and crossed in a way where maybe one foot or both feet are up on their thighs, where their hands are on their lap, palms up, with their thumb and their forefingers touching. Their back is straight, their eyes are closed, and they're sitting so still. And they're exuding this aura of peace and calm and joy. And they're sitting like this for minutes and hours, peaceful and calm. Well, I just want to tell you that that image is similar to what I had in my head, and it absolutely became a barrier for me because I couldn't do any of them. First of all, I didn't want to be a Buddhist. At that point in my life, I was really didn't want to be part of any religion. I didn't want anybody telling me what to believe or what was real. I wanted to figure it out. I wanted to experience it for myself, right? So let's start with that. You do not have to be a Buddhist to meditate. In fact, meditation is not a religion. Meditation itself is a process of training the mind to become aware of what's going on in your body, your thoughts, your emotions, and then developing the muscle to bring your mind back to the present moment. And along the way, we learn how to work with our thoughts, work with our emotions, work with the sensations in our body so that we can transform what doesn't work, enjoy what does work, and choose our thoughts, choose how to navigate an emotion without being reactive and blowing up or capsizing into feelings of guilt and shame. So if you have a religion, meditation is great. You can keep your religion, you can keep your God. Meditation will deepen your relationship, okay, to your God, to your religion. If you don't have a religion, meditation just gives you the skills to have your own experience, trust your own experience, and discover for yourself. What should I say? What is real, or what is truth? You can discover that for yourself. So for me, I love that about meditation. But let's go to the rest of our visualization. So we've got someone who's sitting on the floor, which as Westerners, especially, many of us can't do, and it's so easy to think about all the people who do yoga who can sit cross-legged on the floor. And I want to tell you, when I started meditating, I was in a chair. You know what? All of my teachers but one have sat in chairs. It is okay to sit in a chair to meditate. In fact, most of my students sit in chairs to meditate. And when we sit, what we want to make sure is that we're comfortable. So sit on a chair that's comfortable for you, a couch, your bed. If you've got back pain, you may need to lie down. Where you sit doesn't matter. It has nothing to do with how good a meditator you're going to be. Okay? The next thing that's in my mind was that this meditator was sitting very, very still. And it's like I would sit and something would itch or something would ache, and I would feel this need to readjust. And I had a fabulous teacher who said, then adjust. Yes, there are schools of meditation that ask you to sit through any discomfort, but you don't have to. And so what I teach and what when my teacher taught is, if you need to move, move. If you need to readjust so that you're not hurting, readjust, because otherwise all you're going to be doing is thinking about that pain, that ache in your hip, that ache in your knee, your foot falling asleep, whatever it might be, instead of doing the meditation part, right? I mean, it makes so much sense. So permission granted to adjust the body so it's comfortable. And I promise you, stillness comes with time. It comes with practice. And I have a lovely story at the end of this episode to share with you about one of my students and who went from being an incredible fidgeter to a very, very still meditator. The other thing in my visualization is that this person is sitting there exuding an aura of peace and calm. And so when I started meditating, I thought, okay, I'm going to sit, I'll take a breath, I'll just come into my moment, and I will find peace and calm. And what I found instead was a mind that was just filled with thoughts. It was just filled with thoughts. And so one of the barriers people run into, the obstacles that has them just drop meditation altogether. And I want to really assure you that a mind that is thinking thoughts is absolutely normal, normal, normal. And if you were to put a little bubble above the head of that meditator in your mind, it would be something like this. You think it's just peace and quiet and stillness, but no, their mind is going like this. Oh, shoot, I forgot to set the timer on my phone. Okay, well, that's okay. I'll just make sure I get up in time because I got to get ready and get to work. Okay. All right. So, yeah, maybe I should get a new phone, or should I wait till the newest model comes out? I don't know. My phone hasn't been working that well lately, but so and so was telling me that they loved their new phone and they were so glad they'd gotten it. And, she's she's usually pretty good at these things. And oh gosh, remember that pizza she made me the other night? Oh my God, that pizza was so good. It was so delicious. I wonder if we should have pizza tonight. I wonder, should I go pick it up or should I get a frozen one? Oh, Trader Joe's. Let's go to Trader Joe's. Gosh. And maybe the kids can find the monkey. Oh, monkey. This is my monkey mind. My monkey mind is going all over the place. That's what's really going on, is this stream of consciousness from one thought to another, jumping around. And the only difference between a meditator and even an advanced meditator, those of us who've been meditating for decades, our minds do the same thing. The only difference between a meditator and somebody who thinks they can't meditate is that we are learning the skill of, when we recognize a thought, going, oh, wait, I'm thinking, look, I went off into thought, and bringing ourselves back to the moment. That's what meditation is. It's a process of training ourselves to become aware when our minds have drifted into thought, and to develop the muscle and the skill to return our mind to wherever we want it to be. Okay? So I hope for those of you who have said, I can't meditate, my mind, that you can maybe just entertain that maybe your mind is normal. This is the way it is. That's why it's called monkey mind. And no, you can meditate. You can. We all are learning to do that. Okay, so then the last part of my little meditation barriers in the beginning was that I was supposed to feel peaceful and calm, and I would be doing this every day for 20 minutes to an hour. They say sometimes some schools of meditation twice a day. Oh, that was hard. And then I realized that even once a day was hard. And so this idea, this is what we're here to help you move through. Just let this idea go that you have to meditate every single day. There will be days when you can meditate, and there will be days when it's not going to work. And if you're the kind of person who has the routine, like I said earlier, that you can set a time every day to sit and meditate, absolutely do it. It's phenomenal. You'll love it. But if you're not, and you want to benefit from meditation, then okay, let's accept the nature of your life, and let's learn how to use meditation in your life, and go to a group meditation once a week, meditate when you can, and don't feel guilty when you can't. Just use what we're learning. Okay, so enough of that. Here's what I wanted to share with you, was that one of the ways, the reasons that I'm doing this podcast actually, is that there was a point in my teaching where I realized that this way of being, of 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 using our meditation in our life, was incredibly effective. And the way I learned this was when I was first teaching. I of course taught the traditional way. People would come to a class, we would teach them a technique, we would practice the technique, we would talk about some of the concepts and the wisdom of meditation, but we were doing a very traditional type of group meditation, right? And then somewhere along in there, when early on, my heart was really going out to all the other moms like me who were overwhelmed, who they, a regular meditation practice was just one more thing to fail at, and but they could still maybe benefit like I had from all of the wisdom in meditation. So I started a mom's class. And what happened was, in this mom's class, I just taught them what I did. It wasn't a traditional class. As the moms showed up, they shared what was going on in their lives, and right then and there, we would just learn a technique that was applicable to that. We would learn a principle. We would learn one of the teachings. And what happened over time was, the mom's class was rich. There was so much being shared, so much learning going on that they were using in their lives. But I kept it very down low and quiet. I didn't tell anybody. I just would say, the mom's classes are different. And we just didn't talk about it. Well, I had a student who started out with me. She had been a good friend of mine for a long time. And I think because of the change she'd noticed in me, she started meditating with me from my very first class. And she was uh let's put it that she was pretty stubborn. She was fairly judgmental. She was very impatient. She was a kind of person who just wanted to fix and solve things. She didn't like really going deep into what was going on emotionally or deep inside. But she was high doer kind of energy. And so she was coming to meditation to be less stressed and to chill out a little bit. And because she was stubborn, she insisted on sitting on the floor. By then I was sitting on the floor. My body had warmed up to this whole meditation thing. And she was fidgeting more than I can't even tell you. She was always squirming, fidgeting. And it was fine. It was fine. It was great. Be comfortable was the number one priority. And what was so beautiful about her is as people would come into the class and they would be afraid to move. Because if you ever have gone or someday go to a meditation place, you're going to sit, and whether you're on a chair or the floor, you're going to be afraid to even move your big toe because there's just this aura of, if I move, I'm going to disturb everybody. And so we're afraid to move. We're afraid to get comfortable and adjust. But my friend, people would come in, they'd sit in class, and she would just welcome them and she would just laugh and let them know. She was very funny. She would just let them know, there's no way you're going to fidget more than me. Move, be comfortable, be comfortable. It was great. And for years she did fidget. But over time that started to change. And during this period of time, she was doing the regular class where we did the more formal meditation, traditional teaching. She was diagnosed with cancer. And she, over the years, the cancer kind of came and went into remission. And she used the techniques she was learning in our class to get her through the chemo, to get her through the pain and the discomforts. And she used what she was doing in meditation to become, it helped her become more patient, a little more compassionate, actually a lot more compassionate. And over time, and she meditated with me for about 12 years, she became a very strong, clear, strong, still meditator. She could sit in so much stillness, and she could go deep into meditation. It was beautiful, beautiful to watch her. And it made a difference in her life, and she was so grateful for the meditation. Well, around 2019, the cancer came back and we knew it was different. It was very, very different. And I would go over and visit, and we would sit on her couch and talk. And one day, closer towards the end, she made a comment, and it was deep. She had gone deep into places that she didn't normally go. And I responded the way I would have responded in my mom's class. And she looked at me like she didn't know what I was talking about. And in that moment, my whole body kind of went into, that moment when your body just kind of, that shot of something goes through it and you just kind of, it's kind of a shock feeling. And I realized with almost horror that for all of the skill and progress, and she was an advanced meditator, she didn't know what my moms knew. She didn't know how to use so much of the wisdom and the techniques in her life because I hadn't shared those things. We hadn't talked about how do you, in a moment of feeling judgment, what do you do with that? In a moment where you're hurt, how do you work with it in that moment? That's the kind of stuff we talked about in the mom's class. How do you, when your kid comes at you with something, how do you let go of being so controlling and find the open heart space to see them as them and not as you think they should be? And it was a moment, and we did talk. We did talk for a moment, but I left realizing that I was doing the rest of my students a disservice by not teaching them how to use the meditation in their lives like I had been doing with the moms. And shortly after this, COVID hit. And so we went all online, and because of this moment with my dear friend, when we went online, I started changing the way I taught my classes, and I started incorporating more of, now, how are you using this? How are we using this in our lives? And it's working. It's working. So this is what I'm here to say, is that there are teachings, there are ways of being in the world that meditation gives us that we can use. We can use when we're hurting. We can use when we're angry. We can use when we're comparing ourselves. We can use when we're feeling like a failure. There's so much in the world of meditation that most of us didn't realize, right? And so my hope is to share with you how you can meditate without having to sit every single day. You're not a failure if you can't do that. You can still be a meditator. And so I would like to just kind of come back to my friend, because I'm sure you're wondering how things went. She did end up dying from cancer, but she had a good death, what we would call a beautiful death. She was calm. She was using her favorite technique. She was so present. There was no fear. Her family was with her, and they were meditating. I was meditating with her, and she went peacefully. And it was her meditation. She told me so at the end. It was the meditation, the skills she'd learned from meditating all those years, that got her through. It's a beautiful thing, meditation. I love meditation, and my hope is that I can help you love meditation too, and broaden your image of what it means to be a meditator. And maybe just maybe, join us again, where we will share with you all of the goodness, all of the wisdom there is to help you navigate during the day in your life, real time. And the nugget I'm going to leave you with is, if you want to start somewhere, start with the mantra: I'm going to show up for my life just as it is. I'm going to show up for my life as it is. I'm going to show up for my life just as it is. And if you get up in the morning and you're trying to get the kids ready, and you've got to be somewhere at a certain time, and one of them starts puking all over, you're going to go, okay, this is my life right now. And I'm going to clean up the puke, and I'm going to clean up the kid, and I'm going to deal with this. And I may be late. And then we can stay out of the, oh my God, this is the worst thing that ever happened. We can stay out of that kind of, this is horrible. And we can just show up for what is actually going on, which allows you to think clearly. And as you're thinking clearly, it allows you to come up with solutions that you might not have been able to think up otherwise. Or it allows you to be calm and not stressed out, even when you're late. Okay, so this is a lot today. We have done so much. And my hope is that I've inspired you, or giving you a sense of that there's hope, that there's a way to not be overwhelmed. There's a way to not feel so angry, not to feel so much shame or fear, or feel the need to control everybody and everything. That there's a way to live where you will be happier. And meditation can give us those things. Meditation can give us the skills and the tools and the wisdom to do that. So I hope this has been meaningful. I hope this can help you. And I will look forward to seeing you on our next podcast. If you would like to check us out, our website is Meditation Momma, MOMMA.com. And we've got lots of resources there for you, and we'll see you on our next episode. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening. I do hope you found something that was helpful or meaningful or maybe even inspiring. If you have any questions, please email me at podcast@meditationmomma.com, and I'll be sure to answer them on one of our upcoming episodes. And in the meantime, let's all just take a moment to just let our attention drop into that heart center, and let's take this thought with us into the rest of our day, the rest of our week.
May all be happy, may they be free, joyous, grateful, safe and at ease. May they live wisely, flowing downstream, row their boats gently and sing merrily. May I be happy, may I be free, living with kindness in sweet harmony.